An adventure bike for 12,800 euros with a lot of suspension travel, a really good engine, and probably pretty capable. What kind of bike is this? Let's dive in. Hi, my name is Dennis and welcome yet to another video. This time we are reviewing the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE, and this is technically not a V-Strom because it isn't a V engine, it's a two-in-line engine, but I really like it. So in this video we're going to talk about a few categories. We're going to talk about the engine, about the comfort, about the looks, the price, competitors, suspension, brakes, and etc. I've been riding this bike for 2 days now and I'm ready for a good review. This bike costs around 12,800 euros and you get a lot of bike for this money. I can tell you right now that the price quality ratio is really good. First, let's talk about features. So this bike doesn't have cruise control, which is its only niggle. It does have a quick shifter, a nice TFT dash, and adjustable suspension, ABS, traction control, riding modes, and that sort of stuff. So I really like the package, but I do think that it is a really big miss for this adventure travel machine that it doesn't have any cruise control. So let's talk about the engine. So the engine is a two-in-line engine, so it's not a particular V-Strom engine, so it's not a V engine, but I was really surprised about the rideability of this engine and how much fun it is. It has a lot of torque, at least it feels like it has a lot of torque. It has around 87 Newton meters of torque and around 84 brake horsepower, which is more than enough, but somehow the engine feels a lot more powerful. It weighs around 230 kilos, which is pretty heavy. It's heavier than my Ducati Desert X, which is 223 kilos with fuel, but you don't feel it. It feels lighter than my Desert X. It has a seat height of around 855 millimeters, which is perfect for my height. I'm around 8.86 meters. Yeah, so it's really accessible for all kinds of riders. The seat is really plush, so comfort is also really good. I think this bike is really good for long distance travel with a little bit of off-road. I didn't test off-road that much, only on a little piece of road, and I do think that the suspension needs some adjustment, but it is surprisingly good off-road. On-road it's really fun. It's as fun as my Ducati Desert X, and I can't understand why it is so fun. I think the engine is part of it, but also the way it handles its weight and the suspension on the road is really good. The looks, yeah, those are of course really subjective. You love it or hate it. It has a really Dr. Big DR800 vibe on it, which is really nice, but yeah, some people don't like it. I do like it, but I do think there are more handsome adventure bikes. A little bit about the engine, what I really like is that it's alive, so it's not distant in any way. Some two-in-line engines are a bit distant. You don't feel them rumble, you don't feel them that they are alive, but this engine does have a little bit of vibration, which is good in my mind. Ergonomics is also really good. I do think that the handlebar needs to be a little bit more forward to have a really good off-road riding position, but that is easily adjusted. The brakes, they're from Nissan, dual disc on the front and single disc on the rear. They are adequate, but I do have to be honest, all the new bikes right now have pretty good brakes. So yeah, also this bike has pretty good brakes. Suspension, as I said, on the road it's really good. Off-road it needs a little bit of adjustment, but it is fully adjustable both on the front and at the rear. Yeah, no complaints there. And then that in combination with the tech, yeah, really nice bike. So talking about the price, it has a lot of features, 12,800 euros. If you compare it to its competition, the the Aprilia Touareg or the Yamaha T7, which both are a little bit more off-road orientated. This one also is a little, of course, off-road orientated with the 21-inch front wheel. Also a competitor is the Honda Transalp, but those bikes, the Transalp, the Touareg and the T7 are much lighter than this bike, so that's not a good thing for this bike. But this bike is the same price as the Transalp, more than about, and cheaper than the T7, and also cheaper than the Touareg and cheaper than the KTM 790 Adventure. So yeah, make up your own mind, but I think it's a really good price. Final conclusions: I think it's a really good bargain. I think it's a really good bike if you are looking for a bike that does a little bit of off-roading, a really good adventure touring bike. I think this bike is really good to consider if you're in the market for that kind of bike. I personally wouldn't buy it because, yeah, although the looks, they're not that bad, but it's not my favorite bike to look at. So yeah, and I think that's really important for a bike, but some people really love this bike and I can understand why. So big thanks to Niwa Motor for this opportunity. If you want to check this bike out or other bikes, please head over to Niwa and maybe they have a really good bargain for you if you're in the neighborhood. I hope you like this video. If you do, please leave a like with a thumbs up, consider to subscribe, and then maybe I will see you in the next video. Bye.